Hello everybody, and welcome to a brand new series of me playing Company of Heroes 2. This is a replay of a game I just finished playing, and in this game I had a very special guest. You may know him from such things as Noobs of the Nexus, Battle for Middle-earth 2 Versus, and who can forget, the top 5 ice levels in video games. Yes, that's right, it's Rude, the Deeping Wall Devil. So, just a little bit of background on this game. I have almost no experience in Company of Heroes 2. However, Rude Devil also told me that he has almost no experience against human players in Company of Heroes 2. In fact, I think he said to me that he's never played against a human in Company of Heroes 2. Although I do believe he's got quite a bit of experience against the AI. And he has done a few streams of Company of Heroes. Now, I'm almost the complete opposite of that, where I have played a few games against people in Company of Heroes 1, but I have almost no experience in Company of Heroes 2, other than a few games that I played against Devil's Daemon yesterday, in which I got a few victories. So that gave me a little bit of confidence going into this match, so we'll see how well that confidence pays off for me. So here I'm just getting out these engineers, are they called? They were in Company of Heroes 1. Rear echelon troops they're called now. I'm just grabbing some plots. Just like Company of Heroes 1, you just go out, capture plots, and just grab some resources. And I actually went for a very early mortar. Now, this is something that's a lot different to Company of Heroes 1, where really you have to get a support building, a support weapon building, to start pumping out some mortars. Whereas in Company of Heroes 2, they come from your very first barracks. So that's nice to get those out so early. So let's have a quick look at what Rude Devil is doing. It looks like he's gone OBK West. And he's got some of his engineers, Strum Pioneers. Yes, that is the name, Strum Pioneers. So here we go. Here's his command point. And really, I don't know how these guys play. So I'm sorry, I won't be able to offer a lot of advice, because really, I've got no idea, especially how the Axis factions play. But like with every other faction in Company of Heroes 2, you have one building, and then you tech into other buildings. I'm not quite sure how OBK West does it, so I'll be focusing mainly on the micro and the macro battles, which I know a little bit more about just because that's what every RTS game has. So here we see I was attacking him with my mortars, and he's actually come in with these engineers, I'm going to call them from now on, even though I know that's not the name. So he came in and he actually did quite a bit of damage, and he killed two of my units in that battalion. However, he suffered some damage of his own, but I mean, units of mortars are probably more worthwhile or more valuable than his engineer units. So really that was probably a nice trade for him. And actually I lost a few of my riflemen as well. So these guys seem like they're actually pretty decent. I mean, it was either that or he just had some better micro there in that situation. Now here you see on the right where I'd sent my guys up to capture some stuff, he'd actually come in with some units of his own. The Volks Grenadiers. The Grenadiers, these guys are in Company of Heroes 1. Yay, something that I know about. So they came in and attacked my guys, my echelon troops, and they did quite a lot of damage, and I simply had to retreat. So that stopped my development on that flank quite a bit. So here you see I used that bit of cover there, and that is green cover, I do believe. Let's just see if you can... I'm sure you could test it earlier. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's green cover, but they are quite low on health and quite low in units, so I had to send them back and start healing them up. And really that is something that you need to do all the time in Company of Heroes, is really losing units is like the worst case scenario. In BFME 2 and Edain, really sometimes losing units isn't that big of a deal if you get some other kind of advantage, but in Company of Heroes 1 and 2, really losing units is one of the worst things that can happen to you in the game. Just because they're so much more expensive to replace. But buying a new battalion is so much more expensive than reinforcing a battalion. And really in Battle for Middle-earth, the banner carriers are sometimes as expensive as the troops. So really keeping your units alive is not such an incentive in Battle for Middle-earth. And we've lost the gun crew, we've lost the mortars. Where are they? There they are. And it was this vehicle here, which has got a machine gun in it, that managed to come in and flank my units and destroy them. Over here, I've got my echelon troops fighting against these grenadiers, and it's obvious that the grenadiers are going to win, so I don't really know what I was thinking here. Really, I should have been retreating those units. And these riflemen too, fighting against these grenadiers. So Rude Devil has got quite a lot of grenadiers out, and quite a lot of engineers. And it seems to me like I'm retreating more than he is, and I'm reinforcing more than he is. So that would suggest to me that he's doing a lot more damage to me than I am to him, already very early on in this game. So it seems like, yes, Rude Devil is a noob. Well, I don't know. I don't want to judge his abilities. What I was going to say was Goodfella is a noob, or rather, Noobfella is a noob. And look at the damage that Rude Devil is doing here with this Kubel wagon. My German will improve in time, I assure you. It probably won't, but anyway, let's move swiftly on. So I'm getting my rifles out, and really he's taking control of a lot of the flanks here, and he's got control of every single victory point at this point in the game. So 500, sorry, that is Rude Devil here is blue, and I am red. So already I'm getting behind on the victory points. And part of the reason for that is because I have to keep retreating my units back. And really I'm unsure as to what I'm doing wrong here. Potentially he's using cover more than I am. There you see that that vehicle was destroyed by my lieutenant here, who have got a nice gun. I'm not sure what the gun is called, but it's pretty good against light vehicles. It's like a light machine gun. So I do believe these troops are pretty nice. However, I can't say anything really for certain in this game, just because I am such a giant noob. So the whole time here, I'm just trying to push him back a little bit, and you see he's coming in around here on the flanks and grabbing these posts here. Now, I'm not sure who wins in a straight-off fight with riflemen against grenadiers in this game. I think in Company of Heroes 1 that the riflemen of America beat the grenadiers of the Axis as long as they're at close range. So I'm not sure if that is still the case, or if the riflemen are better at range in this in this game. So really, I have got so much to learn about this game. But all that I'm hoping for here is that, and look at these grenades, and really this is something that I neglected in the match, was to really look out for these flaming grenades. What are they called? It's just incendiary grenades they're called. And really he destroyed a lot of my infantry, and they're so excellent against infantry. Especially if you're a noob and you don't realise that they've gone off and you just let your units burn. That really helped him counter my infantry quite a bit in this game. So yes, there's so much that I've got to learn. And really, if you play Company of Heroes 2, I'm sure that you know a lot more about it than me. So leave a comment down in the video to really help me learn how to play this game better. And look at this mortar. Is this the one? I think this is the one that caused me so much trouble in the game. That really I wasn't able to kill it. And it was just so good at anti-infantry. And here we see again that my troops are getting damaged, and they have got 2 veterancy. So really this is the time where I need to be pulling my troops back more than ever. And look at the fire, and they're just demolished. They're just demolished in a ball of fire. So that was very nice micro there from Rude Devil, and terrible micro from me to lose those double veterancy riflemen. So really that has set me back by a huge amount. And as I've said, losing units is one of the worst things you can do in Company of Heroes 2. At least that's what it seems like to me after these very few games I've played. And really losing veterancy units is even worse. So it would seem to me that Rude Devil is probably winning in this situation, and certainly he's winning in victory points, because look at the victory points already. I'm almost down to half, while he is untouched in his victory point reduction. So here is an example of, here I tried to do a little bit of micro where I was trying to get my rifleman close to his and use my mortars and move back a little bit so that I wouldn't be hitting my units. And actually there, that mortar hit that battalion and it killed 3 at once. But once again, the fire grenades really destroyed me quite a bit. Now I decided to go for this half track. I don't know if that is the right decision, and it proved to be quite... it proved to do a little bit of damage, but not as much as I'd like to. It did do quite a bit against my games against Devil's Daemon, so that's the reason why I went for it again. And really, once again, I don't know the metas of this game at all. So I don't know which vehicles to go for. I don't know the timings of the game. The only thing that I can really try and use to try and gain an advantage over my enemy is just the very, very basics of RTS, which is micro and macro. And also try and hope that some of the features are similar to Company of Heroes 1. But after playing a few games, and after playing this game as well, really I'm starting to enjoy Company of Heroes 2, and I would like to play a lot more of it, and to get a lot better at it. And God knows I need to get a lot better at it. So here, my main focus now was to try and gain control of some of these command points, because really it was starting to spiral out of control, because I am at pretty much half now, whereas he is completely whole. So it's like, if I don't grab these command points, I'm just going to simply lose through victory points. And this early on, really, that would be a terrible, terrible thing. Usually what I like to do, and this is what I'd like to do in Company of Heroes 1 as well, is really focus not on getting the victory points early in the game, and instead focus on getting the resources. There I throw a grenade, but he manages to move out of the way because he's not a giant noob like me. Yes, I like to go for the resources more than anything else, and this is the mortar that I was talking about, and it just rains fire on me throughout this entire match, and really I don't know how to counter it. Looking back, probably vehicles are the thing to do, and there goes my unit. I did manage. Oh no, I did manage to retreat. Sorry, so it's quite badly damaged, and I very nearly lost it, but managed to survive in the end. So I think probably light vehicles are the way forward to try and destroy that mortar. However, he did a preemptive strike against me, and he bought some anti-tank. So really, anti-tank is so good against tanks, and it's even better against light vehicles like this, because really it takes only 1 or 2 hits and the vehicle is completely destroyed. Here I try and destroy his machine gun, which he'd placed in here. A nice defensive machine gun. And look at this. That is terrible micro there from me. And really, look at that. 1 hit and it's almost dead. And really, I've lost that vehicle now, as far as I'm concerned. Because it's so low health. Now, I might be able to heal it up with these, but if he plays well and targets, and as he does, he kills it. So that's a terrible loss for me, and once again, I'm losing units all over the place. So really, it's looking like Rude Devil is beginning to win this match already, and he's got AK-47s on his Volks Grenadiers. Now, that is something that is the same as Company of Heroes 1, where the Volks Grenadiers aren't that great at close range until they get AK-47s. Now, when they get AK-47s, they're better than the Americans at close range. In the meantime, I'm using my lieutenant over here to try and push up and try and gain some more of the map control off of Rude Devil. As you see here, he's grabbed this, and it looks to me like on this map, this point is so extremely important because, look, it carries on all the way down here. And I'm actually, I'm blocked off. My supply chain has been blocked off. So I'm not actually getting any resources from these few plots that I've got. Now, what is the one that I can attack to stop him from getting the plots? I think it's the same one, actually. So really, the main battle should be focused around here, which is something that I didn't realise in the game. But obviously, Rude Devil did realise, because as we see here, he's starting to set up some defensive measures. And this gun was the bane of my life in this thing, this flat gun here. Really, it was so excellent against infantry. And when he combined that with the mortars just raining fire from a distance, really it was difficult for me to do anything, because I just didn't know how to counter it. Now, I've got a few units here, and I'm really trying to push through the middle. And look at this, he's getting some sandbags up. So he knows that this is such an important point. And really, I don't know why I lost the game. And part of the reason me watching this replay and me commentating on this video is to try and help me learn why I lost the game. And really, I'm starting to think now that this excellent focus on the middle that Rude Devil did here was one of the main reasons why he did. And the second main reason was the fact that I couldn't counter this flat gun and this mortar. And also because I just wasn't aware, as we see here, how powerful the incendiary grenades are against infantry. And just generally, my micro wasn't great, and I was losing units all over the place. And whatever game you play, losing units is just obviously not good. So I did try and get some medium armor here, and I did think that would be reasonably good to fight off against these mortars. And after the game, Rude Devil told me that yes, they are a good counter to these mortars and this flat gun. However, his anti-tank gun is always there, always ready to attack. So really, this is a great example of how mixed armies can be so effective. They can be so effective in Battle for Middle-earth, they can be so effective in Edain, and Company of Heroes is no exception. That really, probably in Company of Heroes, it's even more important to get a mixed army of different counters to your enemy, and by getting a mixed army, it's so much harder for your enemy to counter you, as well as so easy to counter them. So that's something I'm going to have to look at a bit more as I continue playing this great game, which really I did enjoy the game, and I enjoy Company of Heroes in general. So there'll be a lot more videos of this on my channel. However, fans of Edain, do not fear, Edain will still be my main focus. And really, it's forced to be my main focus, because really, it's the only game that I'm half decent at. So, I might actually be putting out some vanilla BFME 2 as well. Especially patch 1.09, which I do like the look of. And also the HD edition just makes it look so epic. So yes, here is an example of the flat gun. And look at it. Just look at this gun. And it's just demolishing my infantry. It's so excellent at infantry. And look at the animations on this as well. It's so cool. I mean, war is like the worst thing in the world, in my opinion. Just imagine being one of these guys getting hurled flak at you as you're lying on the floor. You could really do nothing against this weapon. And really, World War II was one of the worst events in human history. Here you see me trying to destroy this mortar. Look at that anti-tank. He's got some Panzerstrauss, are they called? Basically rocket launchers of the German army in World War II. So yes, he has done so much better job at countering. And look at the anti-tank. It just destroying my tank there. And yet again, I'm losing units. So really, that is why I'm losing. So I'm losing because I keep losing units. But why do I keep losing units? I keep losing units because Rude Devil consistently counters my army better than I counter his. So I've gone for more light armor, and he's gone for more anti-infantry. Look at this. Talking about anti-infantry, the incendiary grenades. Yes, he's gone for a lot more anti-infantry by using the flak guns, using this mortar, and I really can't destroy these two. Really, it started to piss me off in that game. And also, of course, the incendiary grenades. But he's not only doing that, he's also going for anti-tank because he, I'm sure, knows that the only way for me to start countering these is to bring in some some medium to heavy armor. So all he has to do is get some anti-tank units out. And indeed, that is what he's done. He's got the anti-tank cannon out, and he's also got his rocket launchers on his engineers. So really, that is the prime example. He countered me way better than I countered him, and it starts to spiral out of control because when you begin to lose units, it's so much more difficult for me to destroy this little stronghold that he's got here in the middle. That once again has such a dominant control over this key central command point that really it's so easy for him to block off my supply lines as well. So excellent play from Rude Devil throughout this game. And he told me he didn't have a lot of experience, but it shows in this game how much more experience he does have than me. And look at this. I mean, I know that they're not anti-infantry, these rocket launchers, but if they get a direct hit, obviously if you get hit in the face with a rocket launcher, you're just going to die. It's that simple. But I do believe, and look at this, another level 2 rifleman. And will the Epic Pro Goodfella save them? Let's have a look. Oh dear, there they go. No, he won't. He's a giant noob. So that is terrible. And look at this. Also, thanks to all the units he's killing, he's just gaining veterancy. And he's keeping his veteran units alive, unlike mine. And once again, in comes that mortar. So devastating. And the thing about mortars is that you can see that your enemy is capturing one of your command points. So then you know where your enemy units are. So you can simply tell your mortar unit, we've lost another infantry unit, you can tell your mortar to attack at those positions that you see. And look at the fire. Really, this is getting out of control because look at the victory points as well. It's just going worse and worse for me throughout this game. And Rude Devil is showing me to be the giant noob that we all know that I am. And really, what do I do in this situation? Obviously, this game is balanced. It's way more balanced than Edain, and the reason for that is because there's so much more money in this game, and it's such a big game, and it's run by a big company. So obviously, they've got full-time staff that work at balancing the multiplayer. So obviously, it's much more likely to be balanced than Edain. So really, there is no excuse of me saying that the OBK is more powerful than America. It's simply that I just didn't counter his units good enough in this game. And that's just something that I'm going to have to learn through experience. And once again, it's one of those examples of the facts of life. That look at this, level 4 veterancy. And there goes another infantry unit. Yes, it's just a fact of life that everybody starts out as a noob in everything that you do. And it's only through practice and hard work that you begin to become not noob at whatever it is that you want to become better at. So here again is the other prime example of me trying to gain some more control in the middle. I mean, number one, I simply haven't got enough infantry, so he could overwhelm me with infantry alone. But not only that, he has this amazingly placed flat gun, which can start to just destroy my troops, as well as this mortar, which is, wherever it's gone, here it is, this mortar, which is just so excellent at anti-infantry as well. So he's just grabbing the capture points from me at this point, and once again, his countering just being far superior to mine. He's coming in with these rocket launchers and the anti-tank, wherever it is, and it's just destroying my only counter to his flat gun. And here we go. Rip, 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 rip. GG for this tank. And imagine, oh my god. There it goes. And actually, you know, when I was a stupid kid, and I'm sure you would agree that you might have thought this. Here, level 5, excellent. Volks Grenadiers at level 5. I've never seen that. I've never made them to get to level 5 before. Yes, tanks. When I was a stupid kid, and I was thinking about being in a war and being a soldier, as you often do when you're a kid, at least as I did. I used to think, like, obviously, if I had to choose what kind of a soldier I'd be, I would choose being in a tank, because, you know, tanks are big and they've got lots of metal on them, and it's very hard to kill people if you're living in a tank. But really, the tank is probably the worst thing to be in, because it's not invulnerable, as we've seen in this game. It's not invulnerable to anti-tank, and if imagine that you get hit by an anti-tank cannon and your engine gets destroyed. You can't get out of the tank in time before the second shot is going to come off and the tank is going to start to burn and explode. So really, the tank's going to catch fire while you're trapped inside of it because of these anti-tank weapons that sometimes can burst through the armor and just explode inside. And really, it must be one of the most horrible deaths to die being in a tank. So yeah, war in general is just one of the worst things ever. And it's easy to forget how recent World War II was. That I'm sure, depending on your age, a lot of our grandparents would have been involved in World War II. And it's just amazing to think that such a big historical event like that is so recent, even within living memory. And how just awfully, awfully horrible it was. I mean, World War I as well, but World War II more than anything else. Just a terrible event in world history. However, this game is fun to play, and really this is the only example of where war is fun, is where it's trivial and it's part of a video game, and you know, I just enjoy it in general. Anyway, moving on from that very depressing point and going back to some even more depressing points, namely Rude Devil absolutely destroying me, and look at my victory points, down to 65. So yes, the summary of this game is that I ineffectively countered his units. I think it really started to go out of my control when he started to use the flaming, the incendiary grenades, and me not effectively countering them. Now, how do you effectively counter incendiary grenades? It seems to me the most effective counter is to simply run away as soon as you see that fire go off. Because if you stick around and the fire continues to burn, really all of your units will die. So it started off from that, and I started to lose some units. But when it really started to spiral out of control was when he got this giant flat gun here. And even before that, when he got the mortar. And I decided to go for medium armor to counter that mortar. But he had already got his anti-tank out to destroy my medium armor. So really, he countered my units way better than I countered his. And really, he just built from that. He just grabbed more of the map, he grabbed more of the victory points, and he just eked out the victory. And yes, it was a victory point victory, but really it could have so easily been an annihilation victory as well, because he has so much domination over me in this match. And add on to the top of that the fact that he's keeping his veteran units alive, whereas I just completely lost them. So, a very nice game. Thank you to Rude Devil for playing it. Thanks for beating me and showing me to be a complete noob. And he did say that he was going to do something at the end of the game. I thought he meant before the match was over, but he actually meant after the match was over. So go and check out his video, which he told me that he would be uploading a live action from his perspective of this game. So you can learn a little bit more about it from him. Certainly a lot more about this game from him than you'll learn from me. And I'm actually excited to see what he meant that he wanted to show me, because I actually quit the game, so I managed to miss it. So anyway, talking way too much once again. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll be back with the Dane soon, and I'll also probably be back in Company of Heroes 2 again soon. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.